The crystalline spires of the Zephyrian imperial palace trembled as Empress Vexithara slammed her six-clawed appendage against the obsidian command table. Her serpentine neck coiled with fury, scales shifting from deep purple to blazing crimson. Clear sign of her volcanic rage. "Impossible!" she hissed, her voice echoing through the vast chamber where dozens of her military advisors cowered. These humans were supposed to be a primitive species confined to a single backwater system. Admiral Korthvel, her most trusted commander, stepped forward cautiously. His insectoid features twitched nervously as he activated the holographic display. "Your Imperial Majesty, our deep space reconnaissance confirms it. 1,000 human supercarriers have emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Centaurus sector." The hologram flickered to life, showing massive vessels that dwarfed even the Zephyrian dreadnoughts. Each supercarrier stretched over 5 kilometers in length, bristling with weapon arrays and launching bays. The human fleet moved in perfect formation, a testament to their tactical precision. Empress Vexithara's 4 eyes narrowed as she studied the display. How did they build so many? Our intelligence suggested they barely possessed faster-than-light travel 3 cycles ago. "That's what troubles us most, Majesty," Korthvel replied, his mandibles clicking anxiously. "Our spies reported that humans were still struggling with basic fusion technology. Yet here they are, commanding a fleet that rivals our entire Imperial Armada." The Empress's tail lashed violently, knocking over a ceremonial urn. For 3 millennia, the Zephyrian Empire had dominated this sector of the galaxy. They had conquered hundreds of worlds, enslaved dozens of species, and never encountered meaningful resistance. The humans were supposed to be just another easy conquest, a species ripe for subjugation and resource extraction. "Show me their flagship," she commanded. The hologram zoomed in on the lead vessel, designated by human markings as the UES Defiance. Even through the static of long-range sensors, its imposing presence was undeniable. The supercarrier's hull gleamed with some unknown alloy, and energy readings suggested power levels that shouldn't be possible for such a young civilization. "Your Majesty," interrupted Science Advisor Yithmak, his amphibian features pale with concern, "we've detected something else. Each carrier appears to house approximately 10,000 smaller craft, fighters, bombers, and assault ships, by our calculations. The human fleet commands over 10 million individual vessels." The silence in the chamber was deafening. Even the Empress's breathing apparatus seemed to pause. 10 million? She whispered, her voice barely containing her shock. Admiral Korthvel nodded grimly. "And that's just what we can detect. Their technology appears to incorporate stealth capabilities we don't fully understand. There may be more ships we cannot see." Empress Vexithara rose from her throne, her towering figure casting long shadows across the room. At 3 meters tall, she had intimidated countless species into submission. But now, for the first time in centuries, she felt something alien to her nature: uncertainty. "What do our xenobiologists say about human psychology?" she demanded. Yithmak consulted his datapad nervously. "The reports are troubling, Majesty. Humans appear to be uniquely adaptable. When faced with extinction-level threats, they don't surrender. They innovate. Our analysts believe that our initial scouting missions may have been perceived as hostile reconnaissance." "Hostile?" The Empress laughed bitterly. "We barely sent 3 vessels to catalog their system." "Yes, but those vessels were armed dreadnoughts, Majesty. The humans may have interpreted this as preparation for invasion. If so, they've spent the last 3 cycles preparing for war." The implications hit everyone in the room simultaneously. The Zephyrian Empire's standard operating procedure was to send overwhelming force to cow primitive species into submission. But humans had responded to the threat by building the largest fleet anyone had ever seen. Their communication? the Empress asked. They've sent a single message, transmitted across all frequencies, Korthvel replied, activating the audio system. A human voice filled the chamber, calm, measured, but carrying an undertone of absolute determination. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Alliance Fleet. You sent ships to evaluate our defenses. Consider them evaluated. We know you've conquered peaceful species before. That ends now. You have 48 hours to withdraw all forces from this sector and cease hostile actions against inhabited worlds. This is your only warning. The message ended, leaving an oppressive silence. Empress Vexthara stared at the holographic display showing the 1,000 supercarriers maintaining their formation. Each vessel represented a threat to her empire's dominance. Together, they represented something that had never existed in this part of the galaxy, a force capable of challenging Zephyrian supremacy. Your orders, Majesty? Admiral Korthvel asked quietly. For long moments, the Empress said nothing. Her empire had been built on the assumption that overwhelming force could crush any opposition, but humans had responded to that force by creating something even more overwhelming. Prepare a communication to the human admiral, she finally said, her voice lacking its usual imperial authority. Inform her that the Zephyrian Empire wishes to discuss terms of mutual non-aggression. The admission tasted bitter, but even an empress could recognize when she was outmatched. The humans had done something unprecedented. They had turned the Empire's own doctrine of overwhelming force against them. As her advisors scurried to carry out her orders, Empress Vexthara gazed at the display one final time. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she wondered what other surprises humanity might have in store for a galaxy that had underestimated them. The age of easy conquest was over.